It's time to brag, be rich and generous. Brag Radio is hosted by best-selling real estate investing author Larry Goins and co-host Kandas. For the next hour, they'll show you proven and effective ways you can be successful in real estate. For the WBT Studios, the flagship station of the Brag Radio Network, here are your hosts, the rock stars of real estate, Larry and Kandas.
He does such a good job with
that. What's happening? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Are you talking to Chad or to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever answers.
Yes. Whoever responds.
We just get lumped together, Chad. Doesn't matter.
I'm just happy somebody's talking to me.
There you go. That's awesome.
Oh, we can engage you more in this show. If that's what you're looking for, sir, we can make that happen.
He's really a great producer. It's like, it's the three of us, right?
Do you feel like part of the show?
Three's Company.
You should introduce yourself then. And produced by myself.
No, that's okay.
Then we really need to get the camera up in the air where it can see all three of us.
Yeah, we got to put it up here in the corner somewhere, somehow. As soon as I can figure out how to hang it.
How can you mount it from
these?
There's
a reason I'm on the radio and not TV.
He's so funny.
No. Yeah, and we're saying that because if you're listening on WBT, we also videotape this live, right?
Right.
And you can watch the archives. You can watch the archives if you'd like.
Yes, on bragradio.com.
There you go. That's good.
That's where they go.
Each and every week.
Air week.
Air week. Like air day.
Air day. Air week.
There you go. So this show is all about being rich and generous. We are real estate investors. We also teach real estate investing. We hold seminars, boot camps. We do... we write books, have courses, coaching, mentoring, all that good stuff, right?
Yep.
Mastermind.
Everything.
Blood drives.
Blood drives. The blood drive is coming up.
Yeah.
26th.
Of?
June.
Of June.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Finally letting me talk about it. It's awesome. Thank you, Chad, for throwing that in there.
Well, you tried to talk about it back in January something.
No. It was March. And people needed to get ready because just like you, it's taking you a little bit of time to come around to the idea that you are going to be giving blood.
Then I'm going to get stuck in the arm.
Yes. And you're going to give the chance to somebody else to have life.
I'll be there. Come by the office, right?
You'll be there.
Come by the office. Do they know how to get there? Do they know where it is?
Well, you can call 877-LARRY-GO and I can give you our address. But we're in Lake Wiley, right near the bridge.
We're right on Highway 49.
Yep.
Right? Charlotte Highway.
Right near
4607.
The bridge. Well, so you don't even need to call me then. There you go. He just backed into it. We're in Lake Wiley, right on Charlotte Highway, 4607.
That's it. We're there. So we do teach real estate on this show. And last week we talked about a little bit about off-market properties and a little bit about how to find them. And you want to look for people with motivation. You also want to look for people who, you also have to look for deal killers in those deals. Mm-hmm. And this week, what I wanted to do is kind of follow up with that and go through specifics that you're going to talk to people about.
It's like a part two.
Kind of like a part two, like we did a two-part on the realtor thing.
You're starting to like these two-parters.
Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, hopefully the people listening will get a lot out of it. If you're wanting to invest in real estate, you need to know how to deal with sellers. You need to know how to sell a little bit. You have to sell the seller, right?
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does to me.
You got to have some sales skills, right? So, and you want to make the phone ring, right? You got to make the phone ring with motivated sellers and whether it be direct mail, Craigslist ads, bandit signs, or bird dogs or whatever. But when the phone rings, you want to make sure you ask people questions and get to know them and build a little rapport with them.
A little
rapture. That's what a kid used to work with me called it. You got to get your rapture down. I'm like, what? Rapture, rapping back and forth. I'm like, no, that's not rapture. So, but one of the first things you say to people when somebody calls up, and quite frankly, I would much rather have the phone ring and they're calling me. Because if I pick up the phone and I'm calling out, or I'm reaching out to somebody, right? I'm the one reaching out to them, and they are in control. If I can make my phone ring where they call me, now I'm in control. It's like, hello, this is Larry. How can I help you? Right? Yeah, I just got your postcard in the mail about you buy houses. Great. Hey, listen, I'm in the middle of something right now. Do you mind if I get your phone number so in case we get disconnected, right, I can call you right back?
Mm-hmm. That's
so, good. Nowadays, most of them have caller ID. If you don't have their number, if it shows up as private or whatever, that's when you will ask that. But most of the time now, you're going to say, if their number doesn't show up, you're going to say, hey, do you mind if I get your number in case we get disconnected? All that is a strategy, and I'm sure it's been used on you before. If you're listening to this, I'm sure you've heard that before, and it's been used on you, and that's just a ploy. I don't like the word ploy. It's just a strategy to be able to get your phone number, right, if it doesn't show up.
But and we doing this as a business are not the only people to use this strategy either. It happens to me whenever I'm calling hotels to get quotes for us to come out and host with a certain venue. That's one of the very first things they say is, in case it sounds like you're driving, which I usually am, can I get your phone number in case we get disconnected? Or they'll say, something like, we seem to be having a little bit of trouble with our phone lines lately. Just want to make sure I have your number to reach back in case we get disconnected.
Right.
And that's with a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really good. So they've been trained well.
Yeah.
So the first thing you want to do is, hey, my name is Larry. Who am I speaking with? Well, Larry, this is Bob. Okay, Bob. Right? So it's good to meet you, but you spell it backwards.
No, we've had somebody now on the lines of, because you talked last week about having a little bit of sales training. I know that we've had some people come in and talk to some of our guys, and one of the questions that they have them, it's not really scripted, but that they have them ask is, what do your friends call you? Or is that what your friends call you?
That's a really, really good point, Kandas. I like that. You learned something, didn't you? You pay attention, don't you?
Sometimes.
That's really good. So what do your friends call you?
Occasionally.
Dr. Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Bob. So
they will tell you, too, what they like to.
Yeah.
Generally, even if their friends don't call them anything other than their name, they'll tell you what they want to be called.
Right. And also you want to say, is this, the number that came up ends in 1234. Is this the best number to reach you on if we get disconnected? Right? You can even confirm that that's the best number. Right?
Yeah.
Or is there a better number? By the way, I've got some information I want to send you before we get off the phone. Do you mind if I grab your email address right quick? Now, see how I said that? Do you mind if I grab your email address right quick? I just made it very nonchalant. I want to send you some information that might help you sell your house. You could even say that.
Doesn't even matter if it's to you or not.
Right.
Obviously it will be branded with you, but still.
I've got some information I want to email you to that might help you sell your house, if I can't help you. So do you mind if I grab your email address right quick?
No, I see this as having a twofold benefit, right? One is you are building Rapture with them. Two, it kind of enforces I know, and I said Rapture because that's what Larry calls it, but you're building rapport with them. Thanks, Chad, for slapping your head when I said it. But it also kind of sets up or enforces the first law of reciprocation. You're giving them something off the bat.
That's true. I'm giving them something free to help them.
So even if they just sit there and give you their time to go through the rest of the phone call, with you giving them something initially, they almost feel obligated to let you talk to them a little bit more.
That's exactly right.
Without even realizing it.
Exactly.
And this is some of the stuff that we talk about at our 3-day events.
At our 3-day events and in my books and in our courses and at our coaching and mentoring at our office, right?
That's right.
We go into much more detail. But the first thing is you want to break the ice a little bit, get them to like you and trust you. Hey, Bob, what do you do for a living? Oh, man, how do you like that? That's awesome. That's great. I love that. I always wanted to do that. Unless it's some kind of a menial job that you don't want to do. Right?
Or something gross because Larry is a germaphobe.
That's true. That's true. That's exactly right. When we come back, I'm going to go through all the different things you want to say to the seller and find out about the house before you ever make the offer and how to build that rapport and get them to like you and trust
that rapture. You. Building that rapture up. You guys give me a call, 877-LARRY-GO. We'll get the Investor's Kit out to your email address, 877-LARRY-GO, or text the word BRAG to 803-897-6063. Welcome back to Bragg Radio, investing in real estate to be rich and generous. And this month, we are asking you to be generous with your blood. I'm going to talk about almost every segment then.
Go ahead.
On all of our shows.
You know, what's your bad self?
Leading up to the 26th. We're having a blood drive at the office in Lake Wiley. If you guys
4607.
Charlotte Highway. They're asking, the American Red Cross is helping us with it. They're going to have the blood mobile out there, and they want us to kind of set up appointments ahead of time. I don't think they're going to turn anybody away if you show up to give blood. Lynn, what time are you coming out?
5.
Yeah, 8 p.m.
Lynn has a bit of an issue with a needle and giving blood. We're going to try to get her over that before the 26th, but we'll see how that works out. But it is going to be, I think it's 3 to 7 or 3:30 to 7 at our office. We'll have the American Red Cross out there with the blood mobile taking donations for your blood, so come and be generous with that. Just takes a few minutes, they've told me. We're going to find out. You're doing it. I'm doing it.
I'm going to.
You are.
Do they sedate you when
No.
they do that?
No, they don't. There's no sedation involved with giving blood.
Wait a minute. You can go to the dentist and get sedated.
You can pass out.
You can go to the dentist and get sedated. Why can't you give blood and get sedated?
Just pass out. Just look at it and pass out.
I don't want to look at it. I'm not going to. You can't make me. You can't make me.
If you glance over there at it and you pass out, then there's your sedation.
If I glance at blood coming out of your arm, I'm going to pass out.
We'll make sure we have a table ready. That way they can go ahead and do you.
Get both arms.
There you go. Yeah.
That's funny.
And they've said we'll have little snacks and things.
Free food. All right. I'll be there.
And now you've told everybody that we'll have investor kits. So we'll have those too for pickup.
Free
if anybody
books.
wants
We're going to give away free books. Anyone who donates blood or comes by. Right?
If you want them.
There you go.
We're not bribing you to come give blood, though. Because it is.
We kind of are.
No, this is generous. I was not bribing anybody to do it. I was employing them because it is something generous to do.
Good. That's good. So.
You threw the bribe.
Is that with that?
That's that with that.
Okay.
The
good.
26-877 Larry Go, and I can let you know the appointment times that are available if you want to do that. But like I said, I don't think they'll turn anybody away.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Anyway.
All right, cool. So we're talking on this show about this particular show about working with for sale by owners with unadvertised properties. Your goal is to make the phone ring, right? You want to make the phone ring. You want to, you want a live answer if you can. I understand some people work a full-time job and you can't do that. Have somebody live answer it, right? A Pat Live, or there's services out there that will do that for you. So have someone live answer it. You can find them on Upwork.com or PatLive.com, but have somebody answer that call live for you, okay? So you get them on the phone, and, you want to get their email address. As I mentioned, hey, I got something to send out that might help you sell your house, even if I can't buy it, so I want to get that out to you. What's your best email address? And always ask for what's your best email address, because they might give you one.
You don't want the junk one.
No, I don't want the one for junk mail, right?
And people have them.
Yeah, and they do.
They tell me when they call in to the 877 Larry Go number. Because I asked that question. What's the best email address where I can make sure that you're going to get this? Oh, well, let me see. And they'll start. And nope. Let me give you one I'm actually going to check. That's the way that conversation goes.
That's funny. That's funny. So one of the first things you want to ask a person that calls is, how did you find out about us? Because you want to be able to track your marketing, right?
Oh, that's
If you're
good.
running Craigslist ads or bandit signs, or you've got bird dogs, or you're doing direct mail, you're mailing out postcards to absentee owners, that sort of thing, owners of vacant houses, out-of-state owners, or if you're doing Facebook ads or pay-per-click advertising, right? Now, the next thing you want to ask is, what's the address of the property that you want to sell? Because if you can, unless you're driving, if you're sitting at your desk or at your laptop or whatever, you want to pull up and look at the property online. You want to pull up the address, right? Just Google the address. Just type in 123 Main Street, Charlotte, North Carolina, whatever it is. just Google the address, and first thing you want to do is click on the street map, right? And it's going to show you a picture of the house, and it'll tell you on that page when that picture was taken.
Now, this
right?
goes into the basic, when you're talking about starting these steps, this is basically how we analyze any property, right? Pulling up the address, Googling it, seeing driving the street, doing all that stuff.
Right. And we go into detail in my book about how to analyze deals and pull comparable sales of other houses and that sort of thing, right? So you want to find out a little bit about the house. And, we used to ask, is it brick or wood frame? Is it a double wide, a single wide, whatever? But when you pull up the picture of the house, you can see that. Now,
do you still, let's say you're wanting to condition them a little bit, though. So would you ask those questions still instead of just looking at the pictures and knowing what you see? Would you still go into that?
What you like to do now because of the internet, and I remember I was buying houses back in the 80s and 90s before Al Gore invented the internet. but anyway, so
you get a kick out of yourself, don't you?
I do. Anyway, so what I'll say is I'll say something about the house. Oh, that's a nice little brick ranch house. And they'll say, well, how do you know? Or something like that. Well, I'm looking at a picture of it online. I just pulled up from public records or from street information. And, I'm able to pull up online and see what other similar houses have sold for and that sort of thing. It lets people know you didn't just fall off the tomato truck, right? I mean, a little bit about
tomato truck.
Or what is it? The turnip truck?
How old are you?
Turnip truck.
Yes. Okay.
You see those all over the place.
When do people ride turnip trucks?
I see them every day when I go to work, don't you?
No, Chad, I do not.
I can't get no learning in here without you guys giving me a hard time. I'm trying to get some learning out.
All right,
anyway.
So we're on the turnip truck or off the turnip truck?
Right. I don't know. Is that like you fell off the wagon or on the wagon? I'm not sure.
What do you want to be?
There was a Seinfeld episode about that. Is it on the wagon or off the wagon?
Do you want to be when you're having this conversation?
How about this?
Are you on the truck or off of the truck?
I don't know. How about this? I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. So I'm going to look it up online, okay? So anyway, you're looking up the property. You're looking up the property, and you're driving the street on Google Maps, right? You're driving the street. You see what the other, houses look like, if it's across the street from a cemetery or a school or whatever, right?
What's wrong with being across from a cemetery?
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. I just said if there is, you know about it.
The school, right? I can understand because I am. So that I get.
There you go. So then you want to ask them a few questions like, how many bedrooms, how many baths. Now, a lot of time that's going to show up on tax records or on Zillow a lot of times. But you still want to ask that question, how many bedrooms, how many baths, how long have you had the house, right? That's important. How long have you had the house, right? And have you had any recent improvements done to the house? What kind of repairs are needed? Just let them talk. Right? What kind of repairs are needed?
So that means that you are not talking. It's very important that you don't keep talking over top of them whenever they're answering their questions.
Okay. I think that goes without saying.
Well, I think that sometimes people get a little antsy when they're trying to buy a property. And they also, they kind of end up trying to sell themselves on the property while they're on the phone with the seller.
Well, the key is you want the seller to be selling you. You want them to be more anxious and excited than you are.
That's what I'm saying. That's right? What I mean by just be quiet. Ask your question and be quiet, and let them talk.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you go to the doctor and the doctor says, do you feel anything when I push here? No. Yes. Right?
What is that?
Well, it's like, well, it's like, you don't really know what that means, right? So if they say,
it's the doctor saying,
right,
not you saying, as you're poked in the side.
Come on, Kandas, get with the program. Did you understand that, Chad?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Stop it! You did not. No, you did not.
Oh my gosh. So There's a lot more questions you need to ask them. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a few of those questions and then also some things you need to do when you get in the house as well. Right, Kandas?
Yep. 877-LARRY-GO. Text the word BRAG to 803-897-6063 or give me a call. 877-LARRY-GO. For the Digital Investors Kit, I can get out to your email copies of the books, our training model, links, everything like that. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Brag Radio. These guys get so entertained by the songs that come back on with each segment.
There you
Air
go.
keyboards, guitars, bongo drums over there.
Air
Last
triangle.
segment, is that what was happening, Chad?
Chad plays the air triangle.
He plays
right.
a bunch of different instruments in the air.
I'm a multi-instrumentalist.
Is that a word?
It is.
Instrumentalist? Yes.
Well, you guys usually tell me if they're real words or not, so I'm just clarifying.
As far as you know, yes.
I'm just clarifying here.
As far as you know. So we're talking about dealing with motivated sellers, right? And when they call in, and you want them to call in, you want to generate some marketing, so they call in, right?
And you don't want to sound like you fell off a turnip truck.
Apparently.
Yeah,
Yep.
apparently. Or a tomato one.
You want to let them know what you're doing, but you also want to build some rapport with them,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Or as you call it, rapture.
It's not just me.
Well, you're the
That is
one that
not
said
on
it.
my. I said it earlier this show, but that's not from my isms list. That's not a Kandas ism.
So, to get back to let's say you're on the phone with the seller, you've gotten the contact information, you got a good email for them. Do you mind if I get your phone number in case we get disconnected if their number didn't show up on caller ID? You pull up their house online. If you can, just Google the address of the house. And while you're talking to them, unless you're driving, right? Mm-hmm. So you ask them about the repairs and how long they've owned it. And you also want to ask them how they acquired it. Now, why would you even care how they acquired the house? What if they say, I inherited it? What does that tell you?
They got nothing in it.
They got nothing in the house, right? Anything they get out of it is pure profit, right? Mm-hmm. It also makes them much more flexible in their sale price.
Yeah, knowing that how quickly somebody could close or whatnot.
That's exactly right.
As long as they haven't spent the money in their head.
That's exactly right. Another thing you want to ask them is, approximately how much do you owe on the property? Are you behind on the payments? If so, how much? Now, we used to ask, how far behind are you? Right?
That ruffled some feathers.
Well, it does, and you got to be prepared. If you say, how far behind are you? You got to be prepared for the little old lady that says, I have never missed a payment in my life. I have perfect credit. How dare you ask me that?
Got to be ready for them. It's going to happen.
You got to be ready, and you got to know what to say, right? If you don't know how to handle that and don't know what to say,
you've lost
get my book.
Well,
it will tell you.
If you don't have the book, and you do that, you've lost that lead.
That's right.
She's going to be
You got to know
so
what
mad.
to say. So I just tell people now, especially if you're brand new, just say, are you current on the payments, right? Are you current on the payments or are you behind on the payments? If so, how far behind? When is the foreclosure date? Are there any other liens on, what about the taxes? Is there anybody else involved in making decisions? That's a good one right there, right? Mm-hmm. Is there anybody else involved in making the decisions? Let me tell you about Uncle Bob.
It's gold. That's awesome.
Let me tell you about Uncle Bob. Grandma gave me the house, but Uncle Bob lives in the house, and I can't get him out.
That's going to be a problem.
That's right. That's right. And that's an answer that I got one time by asking this question. Is there anything else I should be asking you? Think about that. You could stay up all night and not think of that question. But I came up with that question. Is there anything else I need to be asking you? Right? Let me tell you about Uncle Bob. Grandma gave me the house, but he lives in it. He won't pay rent. I don't have a lease, and I can't get him out.
Can't make this stuff up.
Is that good to know?
Yeah, it's good to know.
That's exactly right. That is good to know. Another thing you want to ask, why are you selling? Why are you selling? And here's a great one. What do you plan on doing if you can't sell the house? Right?
This is profound.
I talked to a lady just yesterday. She said, if I can't sell it in the next couple of weeks, I'm just going to let the bank have it back.
That's a terrible decision.
I
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But you know what? I said, but you're not even behind on the payments. You're current on all the payments. You're not even behind. She's going to ruin her credit, right? And let the bank get her house so I can pick it up at half price, right? I mean, that's
her get nothing out
that's
of it.
That's the way it's gonna work. She owed about $80,000, and that's the way it's gonna work because the bank gets it back, and they're gonna move out, and then the bank's gonna end up selling it for probably half that, right?
Just to get it off their books.
Just to get it off their books.
And she gets nothing.
Yeah, zero, zip, nada, right? So that is a good question to ask, right?
It's profound.
What are you going to do if you don't sell? Now, some people might say, well, I might just rent it out. If they say they're going to rent it out, the first thought that comes to my mind is seller financing. Maybe they'll finance it for me so I don't have to pay them cash, right? Another good question to ask is, what do you plan on doing with the money? If they say I'm just going to put it in the bank, if they say I'm going to put it in the bank, then I'm going to say, how much are the banks paying these days in interest? About 1%. By the way, do you know about the rule of 72?
They're not going to know about that rule.
The rule of 72 says you can take any yield, any rate of return, and divide it by 72, and it'll tell you how many years it takes to double your money. That's the rule of 72. You can take any yield or interest rate and divide it by 72, and that'll tell you exactly how many years it will take you to double your money. For example, if you put your money in the bank at 1%, it's going to take 72 years to double your money. If you can earn a 10% return, it takes you 7.2 years to double your money. Right? Does that make sense, Kandas?
Yes.
So, and there's, you can Google it and go online and find it, and there's charts out there that will tell you every single interest rate and how many years it takes to double your money based on the rate of return, right? So what I might say is, if they say I'm just going to put it in the bank, I might say, well, I'm going to have to pay the bank probably 3 or 4, maybe 5% interest. I would just as soon pay that to you. If you're interested in seller financing it, you can get a monthly check and a monthly income, and you're making 4 times what the bank is paying you. How does that sound? Is that something you'd like to hear more about? I wouldn't say is that something you could do, but is that something you'd like to hear more about? Right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that.
Exactly. So there's a lot of questions. Are there any other problems with the house? Have you had any offers? If so, why didn't you take it? Those are really, really good questions.
I like
right?
that. If so, why didn't you take it? Because it gives you a little bit of insight into, deeper what's going on with them, what they want.
Exactly. And then you just set an appointment. If it's a deal that you think you might be able to work out, you just set an appointment. You go over there. You got a clipboard in hand. You got a notepad that you can take some notes on. You knock on the door, build a little rapport. If they live there, you're looking around at pictures. Oh, wow, your kids are in softball or whatever. You're talking about that. You're building a little rapport.
What if they're out of state?
If they're out of state, the house is typically vacant unless it's tenant occupied. Then you have them contact the tenant and let them know that you're coming over to take a look at the house, right?
No, what if the house you're looking at is out of state?
If the house
out of your state, you're not able to go to it.
Well, I'm not marketing to out-of-state properties. I might be marketing to out-of-state owners, but not out-of-state properties. The properties in are local.
That's
right?
what I wanted to make sure we clarified.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. So then you want to ask them for the nickel tour. You mind if you give me the nickel tour of the house? Are there any dogs or naked people I need to be careful of?
That's going to break the ice right away.
Right?
Dogs or naked people.
I'm not going to run into any dogs or naked people, am I? Right?
That's priceless.
Exactly. And then, you want to let them know up front, hey, by the time we're done, it's not going to take very long, but by the time we're done, I might be able to buy your property. I might not, but before, if it looks like I can, I promise you I'll make you an offer before we leave. Are you able to give me a yes or no, before we leave? And that way you set that tone right there. And guys, I got to tell you, it's not that difficult. All you got to do is build rapport, get people to like you and trust you, and ask the right questions. We've got these forms and documents and questions and checklists in my training, in my courses, and they will help you. And you can get a free copy of the book that has all this stuff in it, right? It even has scripts in it that helps you to be able to know what to say and how to say it to build that Rapport, right, Kandas?
That's right. The HUD Home Sap-Off book and the Real Estate Day Trading book, and links to our training models are all in the Investors Kit that I can get out to your email. You can give me a call, 877-LARRY-GO, or text the word BRAG to 803-897-6063. Again, that's for the Digital Investors Kit. We can talk about what else in the kit, or schedule you for an office tour to come out and pick up the physical version. 877-LARRY-GO. Welcome back, Bragg Radio. Nobody got the cue.
I saw Lynn over there going like this, shaking her finger at both of us.
And he's got the arms and fingers out. That hurts my shoulder. I'm going to have my shoulder
And I was
looked
just playing keyboards. So there you have it. So welcome back to Bragg Radio, leading the world to be rich and generous. Be sure and follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Larry H. Goins, Goins.
How about Periscope? How about Twitter?
Yeah,
about
Facebook
LinkedIn?
Is the best place. Facebook is the best place. If you're going to do one, do Facebook. You can follow us on all the others, but we post mostly to Facebook.
You talk to people mostly through the student group and Facebook.
I do. We have a student group, Facebook, the Larry Goins official student group. Mm-hmm. So if you have any of our trainings, if you get our book, if you call Kandas, 877-LARRY-GO, and get a copy of our book, you are a student, even though you might be a prospect and not a customer yet. You're still a student. Yep. It's okay. So yeah, there you have it. So we're talking about working with sellers, right? You know, you can work with realtors or buy HUD houses, but, you know, you need to know how to deal with sellers. And we've been talking a lot about over the phone, what to do, how to build that rapport, how to ask questions, right, to get them to like you and trust you. And now we're up to you're going in the home, right? You're going in the home.
Oh, we're there.
You knock on the
we're
door.
At the home.
There you go. And then you back up.
Going in. What's
you knock on the door.
What's your knock sound?
Yeah, I didn't hear that. But
you didn't hear that? I could hear that.
You knock on the door, and then you back up like 3 or 4 feet.
Sound effects through the whole process.
That's funny.
Back up 3 or 4 feet.
But
so
you want to back up.
Somebody's face.
If you're standing at the door like I am here to this mic, and there's a peephole right there, and you're about 6 inches from the peephole, and you look out, and all they see is a nose and one eye, you're going to freak them out, right?
You would freak them out.
So you want to back up about 3 or 4 feet, but just don't fall over off the steps, right? So also,
that would be bad too.
Also, here's another trick. I've been to many, many houses where you set the appointment, and for some reason they won't answer the door, right? So here's what I do.
Oh, because it's real now.
Yeah,
somebody's there.
So here's what I do.
It just got real.
No, check it out. You know, if they're there, if they're not answering the phone, they're looking out a window, right? They're looking out a window. You know, looking around. So here's what you do. This is good stuff right here. Here's what you do. You back up those 3 feet and you smile and look at every window and wave like that.
You look so
like
creepy.
You see them. Like you see them. You just got your hand up like this and you're looking at all the different windows.
What if you just show up holding a box of Krispy Kremes? I would do that over backing up and like waving at the windows.
Yeah, they don't care about that. What about if you show up with a briefcase full of cash, right?
Krispy Kremes, I mean, people around me love Krispy Kremes.
I hear you. I don't know if it's going to get the door open or not, right? Who knows? All right. Anyway, so you're at the door. You get the door open. Hey, how you doing? You know, and listen, guys, I don't care if you're dead broke or if you're a millionaire. Don't wear the Rolex to the house. Don't pull up in your Lexus or in your Mercedes.
So what do you drive?
I don't go to houses
How
anymore.
do you tell Tom?
I don't go to houses anymore. But
That's what you got.
Here's
That's
here's what I used to do. Uber. I used to put the Rolex in my pocket. Before I would go to a house, I would take my Rolex off and I would put it in my pocket. right? Because I mean, you want people. Oh, this guy's got money. You know what I mean?
Well, they wouldn't be envious of your 2002 Lexus now. So I think you're all right driving to them.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So, guys, I drive a car until it falls apart. Right?
Well, also
it might
you
be a
can't
Lexus, but it's 15 years old.
Well, you also can't get another one.
How old is it?
It's more than 15.
It's 16 years old.
You can't get one with a cassette player anymore. So I think that's your hang up.
All right,
That's
Kandas.
your hang up.
See, my Lexus, I have a LX 470. It's the last year they made a cassette player, and the first year they had the GPS, right?
He's very specific.
So I got
diva.
the best of both worlds.
He's a very specific diva.
Anyway, you're at the house. Okay.
You're in the house. The door's open.
You're in the house, you walk in and, give me the nickel tour. And like I said before, are there any dogs or naked people I need to be careful of seeing, right? So, you're pointing things out as you go through the house. How long has it been since the carpet's been replaced? Is that a leak right there? Is that a current leak or an old leak? Like the doctor, right?
Like the doctor.
Yeah. Like the Seinfeld episode, Elaine going to the doctor. Let me make a note of that, right? It's in your chart now, right? So you're making a note of all this stuff, right? And even when you go in the home, you want to tell them, I believe we agreed to set aside 30 minutes or whatever. I was hoping you could show me around the property, and I'd like to ask you a few questions about your situation so I completely understand what you need. Will that be okay? Right? Is that good or what?
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's honest because
now,
you really are trying to help them.
Exactly. And you also want to say something along the lines of, do you have anything else that you were hoping that we could talk about or you could ask me while I'm here today? That's also a good one, right? Right? If there's
gold. It's gold.
It's gold. It's gold. So, as you move forward, you could say, if there's anything that I see that will be a deal breaker for me, I'll let you know right away. Would you mind doing the same for me? If there's anything you see that would be a deal killer, just let me know. Is that fair enough? Right?
Hopefully they say yes.
Well, yeah, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't because you said you would do it first.
Well, everything works till you're challenged, Larry. Everything works till you're challenged.
Everything works until you're challenged, right? So if we don't discover anything that'll stand in the way of me being able to make you an offer, you'll have an offer before I leave, right? And if you feel good about everything after we talk about it, will you be able to give me a yes or a no today? I don't buy every house that I walk through. I don't buy every house that I look at. So if after we talk you decide not to sell, hey, it's no big deal. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. I only want to buy this property if you want to sell it. Is that fair enough? See, that's what's called a disarming, right? That's a disarming phrase, I guess I should say. A disarming sentence. You're disarming them, right? So you also want to have, when you go to the home, you want to have comps pulled as well, right? You want to have pulled up their house, their address, and pulled it up and looked at what other similar houses have sold for, right? From the low to the high, right? So you can show them, here's a house right down the street. This house sold for $30,000. Here's another house that sold for $35,000. Here's one that sold for $40,000. Unfortunately, you're asking $80,000 for your house. I don't really see any way I can make that work. The market has spoken. This is what people are willing to pay for a house similar to yours in the area. Now, I know your house, it's your house and it's worth a lot more to you, but unfortunately, it looks like in the low to mid 30s is about all the market will bear. Does that make sense? Right?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking
yes,
you too.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Exactly. So guys, those are some of the things that you need to ask when you go into the house. But the main thing is get them to like you and trust you and build up some rapport and talk to them, right? Build up some rapport and talk to them, right?
Right.
Somebody's trying to get in here, right?
There's been like 3 people come to the door trying to see what time we're done, I guess.
They're checking the
know.
schedule. So anyway, guys, that's kind of an overview of how you're going to talk to them on the phone, what you're going to ask them over the phone, how you're going to get them to call you back, or how you're going to talk to them, and then all the way up to going into the house, building a rapport with them, taking a tour of the property, and then asking them all kind of questions, and you want to figure out the numbers of exactly how much you can pay for that property and have comps ready. So that'll get you to the door. Call Kandas and get a free copy of my book. It's going to have scripts. It's going to have checklists and everything in it. Right, Kandas?
It will. And we go into a lot deeper detail with this at our 3-day event. So we can get you registered for one of our upcoming 3 days too, if that would be of interest to you. Give me a call, 877-LARRY-GO, or text the word BRAG to 803-897-6063. We can get the Digital Investors Kit out to your email, schedule you for an office tour to pick up the physical kit. Like I said, talk about the 3 days and our mentoring options, and remember to follow us on Facebook.
Thank you, Kandas. And make sure to tune in again next Saturday for Brag Radio as best-selling real estate investing author Larry Goins and co-host Kandas teach you the latest techniques the pros use to make money in real estate. It's Brag Radio. Be rich and generous on News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT.